So I have now logged back into the account of user John Smith now. And so now if we click on EC2, and it will launch the dashboard for the EC2 service. And this time we got a different response than we got previously before having the access for the EC2. And we can now see all the things that are happening here. So we will click on instances to launch a new instance, or we can directly do it from here by clicking on launch instance. So click on that. Here we can see the Amazon machine images for the different distribution, and this one is the Amazon Linux AMI on which the CLI tools are pre-installed. And we can also make sure that we only launch the instances which are eligible for free tier. We can also click on this box to list only the AMIs which are eligible for free tier, and we can scroll down to the list to find a CentOS image. And if it is not on the first page, we can search here and type CentOS and hit enter, and we can click on the results by clicking on this link, and we can see that it is now shown us the CentOS image which is eligible for free tier. And we can see that it was updated on 31st of Jan 2019. We can click on more info to know more about this AMI. The one thing that we need to know is the username by which we will be logging into our instance. So as you can see here, the default cloud user is set up to be CentOS. So we need to use this username while connecting this instance once we launch it. So we can simply click on select. We can click continue on this page. So we are going to use this general purpose T2 micro free tier eligible, and it has these capacity 1 vCPU and 1 GB of RAM. And we can click on next, configure instance details. Here we can keep most of the things to default, but we need to give it a public IP address, and we can choose default subnet. And yes, we need to enable the public IP address. And for rest of the things we can keep them on default for now, and click on next, add storage, and we will keep most of the settings to their default values now, and click on next, add tags. We can add the tag by clicking on this button. We will call it Amazon transcribe CLI instance. Maybe you can add a hyphen here as well. So we click on next, configure security group. So in order to access this server from your machine, you need to open certain ports for SSH access. So the SSH port is 22, and we can either keep the default rule of allowing all the traffic from the internet to reach to our instance, or we can simply choose my IP. So by choosing the my IP option, it will auto detect our public IP address, and it will put it here in the required notation. And so this way we are limiting the scope of accessing this instance over the internet through our only IP address. So this is the setting that we have made here, and we are okay to create a new group with this security group name and the description and these settings. So we click on review and launch. So we review all the things that we have choose, and we can just simply click on launch. and we have to create a key pair that we will be using for accessing our EC2 instance over SSH. So I will click on create a new key pair. I will give it a name, transcribe CLI key or something like that, and I'll click on download key pair. We need to keep it safe to log in into our EC2 instance. So I will save this PEM file, and we have to convert it into ppk file using puttygen utility. For now we can click on launch instances, and it is going to create our very first instance of CentOS under our EC2 dashboard, and we'll soon be able to access it. So we can see the launch status now. It is in the state of launching, and we can scroll this screen and click on view instance, and it will take us to our EC2 dashboard where we can see the status of our instance and its type and the public IP address that has been assigned to this instance, using which we will be able to SSH into this instance. So we also have to convert our PEM file that we have downloaded into .ppk file for private key generation using the puttygen. Let me show that to you. So this is the utility putty key generator. I will put the link of this utility if you want to download it. So I will click on load, and I need to browse the PEM file that I have downloaded earlier. So we need to select all files, and this is the key pair that we have generated while launching our EC2 instance. So this PEM file needs to be converted into .ppk. We select this and click on open, and the file has been loaded here successfully. Now we have to save it as a private key, which is with .ppk extension. We click on save private key, and we don't want to put a passphrase to protect it for now. We click on yes, and we save the file with the same name. Let me just make sure that we have the same name, and we save it with .ppk extension with the same name of the .pem file. We click on save, and the file has been generated, and we will use it when we try to connect to our EC2 instance using putty. We can drag this screen to upper side to see the details that are there in the bottom half of the screen, and we can also scroll this to the right side to see the details related to the EC2 instance. So for now, as our EC2 instance is running successfully, as two of the status checks has been passed, so we will now attempt to connect to it using its public IP address using the putty software. So I have opened the putty software. Here in the hostname we need to provide the IP address in the convention of username at the rate symbol, then the IP address. So the username, as we noted down earlier while selecting the CentOS image, was CentOS. So we will write the username as CentOS, then at the rate symbol, then we will paste the public IP address of our EC2 instance, and under the SSH section we will click on auth tree, and from here we click on this private key file for authentication, and we will click on browse, and we will grab the file ppk file that we have created, and we select it and click on open, and we click on open, and it will attempt to connect to our EC2 instance which is running at the port 22. So we click on open. We will see this security message, and we can click yes on this, and we are being authenticated, and we are logged into our EC2 instance now. So for now installing the AWS CLI tools, we are going to refer to the instructions from AWS link, and this link gives us the information about installing the AWS CLI using the bundled installer for Linux, Mac OS or Unix, and it has certain prerequisites, and we need to make sure we are having Linux, Mac OS or Unix system, and Python 2 version is probably greater than 2.6.5, or Python 3 version is greater than 3.3 plus. So we can first check our Python installation and write this command here, python space double hyphen version, and we have 2.7.5 version of Python, which satisfies the need for prerequisites. We need to have 2.6.5 plus, so we are having that, and then we can follow these commands to run the bundle installations. This is the curl command, which will be downloading the package from this link, and we'll save it as a zip file with this name. Then the next command will be for unzipping this file, and then we can run the install executable using this command sudo to elevate the privileges of our current logged in user to the root privileges. And we can also use all three commands together and paste it into our command prompt, and that will install the AWS CLI tools on our CentOS system. And at the bottom of this page you can also see the uninstallation instruction as well if you want to have it uninstalled. So I'm going back to my CentOS terminal and I will paste the commands. Seems like we don't have unzip utility installed on this new machine, so I'm going to remove this command, and we will first install the unzip utility using the command sudo yum install unzip. Click enter, type Y to accept it, hit enter. Yes, we can hit enter as well because I previously as well tried to download this software before. So I will choose yes, and the unzip is now installed. I will clear the screen and repaste the commands again, and I will click enter. Seems like it completed, so we can test it with using the keyword AWS double hyphen version. So this tells us that the AWS CLI tools has been installed successfully. We will now configure the CLI tool. Let me just clear the screen first. Because we have created our IAM role previously to provide access to our EC2 instance to access Amazon Transcribe and S3, so we will not be using the AWS configure command. Instead, we are going to attach the IAM role that we have created to our EC2 instance so that the CLI tool can receive access to the required services. So let's go back to the console and attach the IAM role that we have created. So I'm on the EC2 dashboard now. From here we can click on actions and go to instance settings. From here we need to choose this one, attach or replace IAM role. So this option helps us, either we can attach a new role because we don't have any yet, or we can replace an existing one. Previously these options were not available, but with the new updates these has been given as a feature, so we can select this option now. And on this page we can see that our selected instance has been highlighted here, and we can select the name of the role that we have created previously. to be attached to this EC2 instance. So we'll choose EC2 underscore role, which is the role that we have created, and we will click on apply, and the role has been succeeded. We can close here, and we can now see that the IAM role EC2 underscore role has been attached to our EC2 instance. We can now go back to the CLI prompt, and here we can test a command like aws s3 ls just to make sure that the CLI has access to our S3 service now. And sure enough, we are able to access the buckets and we are able to see the name of the buckets. So with IAM roles, we don't need to use AWS configure command to provide the secret key and access key, because we have discussed it earlier that with EC2 instance we should use IAM roles, and so that's the best practice, so we should follow this. And now our CLI prompt is ready to run the transcription job. So we will do this in the next video. That's all for this video. Let's move on to the next one. Thank you.